you get a burn on the player that goes for it, you can't let him get away. And Jimbo did exactly that at the start of the game. And from then on, it was pretty simple for Team Infused after they got that massive, 14-point lead almost halfway through the game. It's pretty tough to come back from that, especially at a pro level.
Absolutely. With Infused as well, it's the fact that every time they had camo, they would use it so effectively, apart from the third time, because obviously when Jimbo picked up, that was the only time it actually got capitalized. But the thing is, right at the beginning, like I said before with the old carbine situation, is the fact that there was no shot calling. Someone should have said, right, as soon as you spawn card, let's just run straight away to one side so we can take out one guy. It'll be 4v3 situation, we get control of the map, and it would have been like 7-5, 7-6. But instead, they all sat around there hoping that one of them will pop out and they'll get first shot or make the first mistake. But when you spawn at carbine, that's an instant mistake in itself, because you're going to get naded out, and when they do respawn, you're going to spawn under red, and then it's going to pin you again. They're pinning them and pinning them and pinning constantly. And the worst thing is the fact when Jimbo got that second camo, it was already a done deal, because of the fact that they did catch up with that 7-kill deficit, but Jimbo just extended the lead once more. So I think with their shot calling with Vex, they need to be a bit quicker on the decisions they make on spawn.
Well, that's something for them to definitely look at in this next game, because the next game is going to be Strongholds on the Rig, gentlemen. An Infused favourite, as we well know. They dominated in Denver when they played the NA teams on this one. I can't remember the last time they lost it. Can Vex answer back here in this next game, or do you feel like Infused might be one game away?
Well, interesting note is, no matter what the result of this next game, we'll be seeing Oddball on Eden in Game 4, which will most definitely be an interesting affair. But yeah, I honestly don't know if Vex can take this game off Infused. I thought Truth Slayer for Vex was a promising game type for them. They just lost that pretty handily. Their decision-making must be better in this next game if they're going to do that, because Rig Strongholds, it's all about that railgun, camouflage coming up every 2 minutes. If you don't have map control when those two things come up on the map, as well as that timing for the camouflage, boy, you got no chance against Team Infused. They're dangerous enough without these weapons and power-ups.
I was going to say as well, I mean, the one situation I believe in Halo 5 where you need to be decisive is if you fall into a triple cap.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot be indecisive before you know it. You've lost 30, 40 seconds or points of the Strongholds game. And I think you alluded to it about what you said in the last game. I think this is the game type where if Vex don't get this right and don't fix it from game to game, they can find themselves down 2-1.
Absolutely. With Rig Strong, it's all about those really quick decisions. You've got to be on point all the time. The only problem is with Vex as well, they seem pretty slow off the bat. Truth TS is very fast game time, depending on the scenario in, if it's a stalemate or if it's quite messy. But Rig Strongholds, you know how fast this game time is. You know how much effort you've got to put in to actually hold that trip cap. But the problem is with Infused, they seem to be on the ball of things in terms of their aggression and how they want to strategically push each situation. But the only thing I want to say with Vex is the fact that they are really good at Rig ball, but the things are they're good at Rig Strongholds. Well, this is going to be the comparison we'll be looking into.
Can I try on your glasses?
You can, actually. I only got these recently.
Really?
I've lost,
yeah.
I've lost control.
Yes, because
you've 2 games.
Oh my God, you just aged so much. You've literally become 45 years old.
Wow, I want to take those off.
Well, when you get to my age,
you're blind.
You will need these. I'm a little bit blind.
Although I do have contact lenses.
Oh, okay, that probably doesn't help.
fault.
So you could see,
4 times
you
could
see
fine.
You could see through me. Double vision.
X-ray vision.
X-ray. That's definitely
Double
what
vision?
happens. Don't try that at home, kids.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving into this game, it's going to be Strongholds of the Rig. We've talked about it. And one thing that I think we need to look out from Vex side of things as well is on Truth, they had the camo. Didn't get one of them. Now we've got the camo, the railgun, and the scatter shot. I'm looking at Turk, their coach. I mean, he's going to be sitting in those lobbies, I presume, at the moment. He's got to be on top of things because it looks like Havoc's winning the battle of the coaches at the moment.
It does seem that way, yeah, but it's all well and good you timing those things for your team. Your team still has to make those plays around those power-ups. So it could have been the fact that they had a timing on it. I mean, obviously, Jimbo getting away with the first camouflage in that last game, that's a tough one because you don't know when he grabbed that. If you didn't see him pick that up, which I don't think Vex did, you're not going to have a camouflage timing for the rest of the game. And when Infused are forcing you to spawn across from it, you won't even know when it's come up on the map before or when anyone else grabbed it either. So yeah, it's all well and good having a coach, but you still got to make the plays on the map yourself.
Absolutely. And with Turk as well, like if there is any scenario which his team's in where they're 3 down, anything like that, he needs to let them know like 30 or 20 seconds before it comes up. But, if they're in a situation where they're all 4 down, then it's okay for a coach to say it's 5 or 10 seconds until it next comes up. But if his team are actually really far behind in slays or just a few down, he needs to say it a bit more prematurely. So at least that way they'll be like, okay, when we respawn, we'll do this. When we move up here, we'll fork it in this situation, and then we can plan on and get this next weapon or the next power-up coming up.
Well, just to highlight to the people at home at the moment, we are waiting for one of the players to get back in the lobby. I believe it's Mose who's gone missing. We've got a missing Mose.
Missing Mose.
I do know He has had some internet issues recently, so keep that in mind. He's trying to get back in the lobby as quickly as he possibly can. But in the meantime, Harry, we wore the same shoes today.
It's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of an embarrassing thing. You can't really see. I'm really flexible, by the way.
So
I'm not at all.
I mean, I think let's talk about your reaction to when me and Wonderboy walked in.
I honestly couldn't believe it.
Break it down. What did you see?
Okay, they both walked in, and I looked at them both, and I was basically thinking, have you both actually agreed to come together with the same jeans, the same shoes? I even looked at their top and their jacket, and it's actually very similar. Same coloured jacket, same colour top, jeans, shoes, and I was just like, what is going on? You two might as well, I actually thought you'd been living together because you can't make this stuff up. You know?
You can separate Onboy. You can finish it because I've got nothing.
We still come together.
All round.
All round.
Which brings us to now.
Bad.
But yeah, it was a sight for sore eyes. That's
All I can say is we've both got great taste.
Real respect's real, you know?
Look what I'm wearing.
I see.
Yeah, you remind me of my local garden centre, you do.
Thank you, man. I think it's quite pretty.
My mum
You're
puts her
pretty.
curtains back.
She didn't get them. They're not very good as curtains anymore. They've got a big hole in them. But what else could we talk about in the meantime? I know. Let's talk about London. The big one coming up. HWC London, the big event.
It's going to be pretty good.
Let's call it the big event of the summer. That's what it is. Massive.
Spring.
Spring.
It's more of spring.
Late
Yeah,
winter
you're
more,
right.
maybe.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, you're right. But anyway, if you want to get your tickets, get over to gfinity.net and make sure to click on that events tab. Click on Halo and get the tickets because we want to see you all down here. We want a full bracket for this event.
Yep.
And I mean, it's going to be a hell of a time. I mean, let's look back at the last event that we had. I mean, what a time we had.
Magical, some might say.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was a great affair. I enjoyed myself. And honestly, if you're thinking of coming to London and you're not coming to London, please come because I will give you a hug if you do. Limited time offer only. But if you want to come, I'll give you a hug.
That's a lot of hugs.
Ticket sales are going down, says production. I will not appear.
Abort.
If we sell out
You're
London,
fired.
I won't come, okay? How about that? I won't
Yeah.
come to London.
Yeah, okay. There you go. There's an incentive for everyone. Wonderboy won't be at London if we
You know it's going to get sold out by the end of the
sold
night
out,
now.
I've
You know
heard.
that.
Yeah, just heard my ear that it's sold
Sweet.
out.
We've actually extended the bracket, I'm hearing.
Well,
But anyway, I mean, I want to talk a little bit about events because we all went to our first event. We all remember going to our first event. Sometimes it's a little bit of a daunting thing to do, but the first event for me is one that I always look back on as being one of the best times because it was one of those where you're like, do I go to this event? Do I go to this event? And you eventually go, and then you're like, events are sick, and then you go to every single one afterwards.
funny story about my first
Is
event.
it clean?
Back in my day.
Is clean.
Good.
First event I went to, I actually had 2 Foxy in the boot of a car I was driving in because he just didn't want to get a taxi, and we were going back to the hotel, and he was like, you know what, I'm going to get in the boot. And everyone was like, yeah, all right then, that's safe. So we drove with 2 Foxy in our boot.
I was hoping you weren't going to say you drove because that's illegal, Harry. But anyway, moving on to the next game. We are finally in it. Strongholds on the rig. Camo, scatter shot, railgun, all the goodies on this map. Let's see who can get control of those strongholds and who can rack up those points.
We'll start this one off with Respectful. He's had an absolute blinder of a series so far. Easily the best player in Europe for at least a year now. I can't remember back when there was anyone coming anywhere close to him in that respect. Yeah, I think so. Honestly, like, you talk to anyone in Europe and they will say the hardest player to play against in-game is Respectful. Well, apart from us, obviously.
Yeah.
But
We don't count.
he really is one of those players that when you go up against him in a 1v1, if you don't have that first shot or the positional advantage, you know he's going to make you pay. And even if you do have that shot advantage and positional advantage, he's still going to make you pay sometimes too. So, yeah, I wanted to start that game off with Respectful. He gets back smacked though. Railgun in the hands of Wario.
Oh, boy!
Speaking of the man, Respectful just took down Quadios with a right hook from the heavens.
There is a long battle going down in Sniper at the moment, but it's eventually going to be won there by that Infused player. And look at this. I like what I'm seeing from Kimbo here. Immediately pressuring that triple cap. And this is the last thing that Vex needed right now. A triple cap here for Infused. A railgun in the hands of Jimbo. And now it's just all about kills for Infused.
Yeah, they are going for Nest as their first stronghold of VEXED.EBUYER. And that's all well and good. But the problem is now you have to fight your way back into the map. We'll swap over to Lunny over here, who is in Nest. He'll get taken down. Look, he has to fight into those kind of narrow corridors back into the map, and that's, although they are slaying pretty well right now, about to be 3 down here for Team Infused, is a really tough position to put yourself in if you're going for Nest as that first stronghold.
Yeah, I felt Infused were a little bit impatient because you had 3 members of Vex all around the outside of Nest and just hiding in little corners. I was thinking to myself, well, you know what? You've got Whitehall, you've got Carbon Control, and you've got Bunker. Why would you, even pressurize? You might as well leave them there because that way they're the ones wasting time, not them. But somehow Vex managed to get away with that because Infused just full on just went out of their way to try and kill them all whilst they were open, but instead of letting come to them and instead dying. So yeah, it was a shame that they knew the whole situation, all 3 of them being there, they should have just left them there and let them come to them.
Kills going down either side, but that's always better for Team Infused here as they do have control of 2 of the strongholds. I believe they have the BR base and the basement at the moment, so look for them to control the tower side of the map. Snipedrone's going to miss that shot with the railgun. Tries to land a beatdown, but gets taken down. Mose takes that weapon out of his hands. That's going to be 3 dead here for Vexed. Last player alive was Riots, and look at this. Mose has fallen on the camo. Everything going his way, and he's got all of the goodies.
All of the goodies on the Infused side. As we see right here, Predator combo for Mose. Respectful have the scatter shot too. This should be a triple cap with those first 2 slays. Should be 3 right here if they take down Riots. And I like the quick rotation here from Mose. He has this railgun. He can take down Snipedrone before he gets the stronghold. No, Snipedrone somehow dips around the corner. That could really save their bacon. As we say that though, 48-0 in this game.
Just missed Snipedrone as well there. He was just behind him. Does get the kill on Riots though. It's going to be a killing spree for Mose. Still has that camo, and I like what he's doing. He noticed that if he took down Riots, there's going to be some more players hanging about here. So just taking this one nice and patiently, jumping into that stronghold now with his teammate Respectful. There is a player here who might challenge that basement, but with 2 players from Infused here, great play from them, stacking those strongholds, making sure they can fight those battles.
And another triple cap for Infused. They got the Nest during that entire scenario as well, and Mo still has railgun bullets to play with. So Quadios is down, Lunny's already weak, Mo's already gets the re, so even if he loses that fight, which he trades in the end, he still wins that engagement. Snipedrone again finds himself last alive here for Vexed, and it doesn't seem like the first slay ever goes into the favor of VEXED.EBUYER. That's something they got to work on right now. Get that first kill on the board. Sure, there's probably 2 people in your own stronghold, but the first slay is what you need. Kimbo goes down, Mose goes down after that, and now 3 down for Infused. That's so much better from Vex. They need to grab strongholds and capitalize off that slaying advantage right there. Much better.
Yeah, big 1v1 going down in the basement here. You can see it in the background. It's actually Quadios who's going to win that one as well. So that should be the Nest and the basement being turned over here, as all of the players will be spawning towards the bunker for Team Infused. So a big 1v1 battle and a big team fight there. As you say, one for the first time by Vex there. That's going to open up the map for them. And now Quadios has the scatter. That's going to be 3 dead for Infused. And now, this is the thing about strongholds. If you get control and you get those kills, you can make these comebacks.
Yeah, let's see if they know the timing on this camouflage. Looks like Quadios has absolutely no idea, as he'll be asking his coach what time camo is, and they actually don't know. They will now as he grabs that, but yeah, it's very interesting that Infused was still able to contest Quadios right there on that camouflage, even though they went 3 down just prior. But those 2 kills again from Vexed, another slay, a reslay right there on Kimbo, means they're going to get a decent amount of time right here. They can contest this BR base too if they want to, if Lunny drops down.
Yeah, you took the words right in my mouth there, because in that situation you've got scatter camo and you're going around Whitehall as one of the best places to have your beam rig. It's a perfect play because you should be able to get at least another 20-30 seconds on the board, as long as you keep up that aggression. But I like how they're sticking together a lot more. Vex before, they lost so many points just due to the fact that they were going into it at a time, they won't wait for each other, or sometimes if you weren't giving each other a chance to spawn next to each other. But it looks like right now it's a completely different story. Vex are being really passive and separating from each other, and now they're just playing really well, triple capping and making Infused show how it's done.
Snipedrone dancing around Mose there. Mose couldn't get that one finished. Quadios using all of that camo time, and he is still alive as well. He's going to be a player behind him who takes him down. Kimbo does take him down, so that's going to be a kill. The first kill in the team fight here for Team Infused. That's going to be 2 dead again. Now we're going to see Team Infused turn the scoring over once again, potentially. They do have control of the Nest, the former Jimbo, and it looks like they're going to be 2 players stacking that BR base. All the players here from, I believe, Vexed had actually rotated back to that basement to try and protect the one that they had. Quadios picks up 2. Mose is going to be taken down, but Respectful just being such a pain there on that carbine, just putting shots on all of those Vexed players.
Really interesting time of the map coming up. You see Snipedrone there not capping this base for Quadios. Not only does he want to kind of act as a blocker right here on the Nestor so Quadios can cap that evenly, but also because Railgun just came up. Camo's coming up very soon as well. It was around 33, I think Quadios grabbed it last. So Jimbo's going to hang around white corner, hang around this area of the map so he can easily rotate to that camouflage as soon as it comes up. You see him again trying to transition back over to that white corner position. But yeah, Infused already have Railgun, they already have Scatter Shot. If they get that camouflage in their possession as well, you have to say this is probably going to be really tough for VEXED.EBUYER to come back into this game.
Yeah, Jimbo just controlling this tower as well. So important on Rig Strongholds. We see a perfect coming in from Snipe Drone. Mose has the Railgun as well. Everything lining up here, apart from having one extra bullet for Jimbo to finish off that kill. But the camo is going to be dropping as well. Kimbo slams that one into his chest, and at 91 to 43, securing a power-up at this time in the map, all Jimbo has to do is essentially not mess this up.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, all you have to do, I mean, you could even milk a stronghold that the enemy team's trying to capture if you wanted to. Just any type of play you make at this stage of the game, if you are Jimbo, as long as it's a positive one, you got to say, is gonna win the team the game, honestly. I mean, those 2 slays will help out too, but yeah, you're absolutely right. All Jimbo has to do is just be a nuisance, and all the while Jimbo has this, VEXED.EBUYER, they got to worry about him. Almost a triple cap for a second right there for Team Infused, and only 7 points away from sealing out this game number 3.
Jimbo doing exactly what you said. Here's the milk from Jimbo, 95, but Vex are going to turn that one back over. It looks like Infused might have looked to rotate towards that. They actually haven't rotated towards that nest, so almost as if Infused thought they had the game won there. We're going to see Riots now trying to convert a triple cap here, as 2 players from Team Infused are going for the nest. And just like that, Harry, we're seeing 59 to 96, but 2 plots in the control of Vex.
Love this rotation here from Riots. Rather than try and overextend to that nest, just let all of Infused have that stronghold and have them spawning over there. Because again, then they have to fight back into the inside of the map. So Riots with height control should be able to get a stop on placement right here, especially with the scatter shot. All he has to do is not mess this up, and he does get the return just about, gets the recovery. But Lunny's the last alive, and he is no shields. You've got to say, depending on what VEXED.EBUYER do off the respawn, it's probably going to be game.
It was such a shame as well, because Vex were in a really good spot with Infused having only 2 guys at nest, and actually they forced themselves to spawn completely outside, so they should have completely surrounded them. But as you can see, Infused with Rig Strongholds still their best game type by a mile. Yeah,
Rig Strongholds, such a stalwart game type here for Infused. They managed to take that one and go up 2-1 in the series. And you have to say, they're just so drilled in so many different disciplines on that game, as we have a quick look at the stats, Harry.
13 and 11 from Respectful, again, top of the leaderboard. That's because he had the most captures for his team. Just the 6 kills from Jimbo. But again, the objective work is the only thing that matters, allowing his teammates to slay around him, which Mose and Kimbo did perfectly. 32 kills between them collectively. That's all you need to do on that game type. Again, damage dealt, not the best there from Jimbo, but Kimbo and Mose and Respectful slaying around him, he doesn't have to pick up that slack. All he has to do is just play the objective, and Infused, they win game number 4.
Yeah, these are the replays from that game. Game number 3. Harry,
we had so many fathoms, I just forgot what game it was.
Technically, we're on game 5. I mean,
game 5.
Game 5. It's a game 5, baby. But let's have a quick look at the series layout, and let's bring that one up and see exactly how we stand in the series, as we do see the guys on Infused taking the lead. And now we move into Eden Oddball. So the first time we're going to see Oddball on broadcast. Let's talk a little bit about Oddball and what we're expecting to see here on Eden. How is this one played, gentlemen?
It's going to be interesting because of the fact that, it's very premature game type at the moment. It's not going to be fully, experienced until at least a few months where people perfect their strategies. But you're going to see a lot of people will be holding blue side with the ball maybe more to the stairs just to keep an eye on what's going on outside. But the problem is, even though red side's not too bad, there's way too many openings and way too many counter-attacks, because you can go through under red, through the window, through the outside of the tower side, the outside in general. There's so many ways you can get inside red. So you should only hold the red side only if it's absolutely necessary. But the one thing about holding blue is you've got to make sure that security and that bush side is completely held down.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think holding it at red, because it is that lower down base on the map. Like you said, it's so easy to get in there. You flank bottom middle. There's so many different ways. You can go in through the window. You can go in through the SMG. You can go in through security side. Whereas if you hold it on blue plat, you have that height advantage. All of a sudden, you have to make a play to get into the window. Obviously, you have the height control if you go up through snipe, but on the red side, you have that control anyway if you go through red nest. So yeah, you're right. I think blue plat is probably going to be the place where we're seeing teams try and hold that ball. But again, the problem with blue plat, it's nowhere near anywhere you can reset the ball if your team gets slayed. So you do have that kind of worrying moment where if you all get slayed at blue, especially with that sniper rifle over at blue too, you gotta say, if that happens, the enemy team could get a big chunk of time here on this map.
Yeah, that oddball does spawn bottom mid. We are in the game, and it's going to be Jimbo who immediately looks to prioritize that overshield. Of course, we have overshield, which is spawning on the turbine, and Jimbo somehow manages to get the burn on that one, as well as the sniper rifle. So they're going to be your two power-ups on the map. Kimbo lands a pretty simple no-scope there onto the back of Lunny, who wasn't looking at him. Kimbo's going to be chased down here, but somehow manages to just about get out of dodge. But that's a big kill from Riot's, because that's going to take that power weapon out of the hands. And not only that, but Snipe Drone, we talked about how he stepped up his game, sort of an all-round game, and he's got that oddball in his hands.
Let's see how they play this. It looks as if they've rotated the ball around to security. That's an area you want to try and control, but 3 slays right there from Infused means Riot is last alive. He does have sniper control, and his team does have the lead. So not a big rush right here for Riot, in my opinion. He just needs to find the first pick for his team so they can push forward.
And one important thing on Oddball as well is if you're new to Oddball, you haven't watched it in previous iterations of Halo, you cannot get obsessed with that ball carrier. You can't just try and kill him immediately. You have to take down the players who are protecting him before you even try and get that ball out of the hands of the opposition team. So an early lead here for Team Infused, 29-15. It's going to be Lunny who's trying to take down Mose. They do get the trade. Riot is going to come in to scoop that one up. 2 down on either side, and he's just milking some ball time here, but he's coming under pressure from a Team Infused player pushing him hard.
Still has that sniper in his back pocket, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, he needs to be careful. He doesn't turn this over to the likes of Kimbo, who has the Hydra right in front of him, and that's going to be a free sniper for Kimbo. And that's exactly what you do not want to give to Team Infused. This man's favorite weapon. If Mose gets that slay,
how did he do that?
So big for Mose. That's going to mean a big chunk of time. Jimbo has the ball. Kimbo with the sniper. This is going to be a big chunk of time here for Team Infused. Kimbo does go down, but the next objective, if you're VEXED.EBUYER, make sure you're hanging around exactly where Respectful's coming from right there, because the overshield, don't forget, coming up in around 10 or so seconds time.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing from Infused here. They're rotating that ball outside, and I think one thing that's going to be so important on Halo 5 with Oddball, if we do see it at the live events, is going to be how well teams rotate. We can see the setup for Team Infused was broken there momentarily. They are now rotating the ball outside, and that is because, of course, that overshield is coming up. So taking that oddball out, if you win that team fight, you're going to have the opportunity to rack up some time, but also get that overshield. And Lunny has the overshield, so it's going to be Vexed looking pretty good. They have the ball, and not only that, also so important when you have that overshield to keep control of that green gun.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Lunny had. Riot has the ball right now, just chunking time for his team. He's in an area, if he wanted to, he could play this ball, but right now he's just trying to rotate this. This is interesting how he got out alive right there. Pressure from the turbine from Team Infused, but somehow they're just allowing Vex to rotate this ball as quickly as they want.
This is the thing with ball as well. So rotations are so important, but the thing about the Snipe Drone is the fact that he managed to take it to blue side because he knows it's the better side, but also the fact that he was in the perfect position. Just make sure when you've got the ball, just make sure you run to the nearest teammate, but there's going to be a lot of shot calling. So if you're not going to be like the team leader and you're going to be shot calling the most, it has to be someone with the ball at all times. But now it looks like with the Infused squad as well, they're in the perfect position, but Vex right now needs to use the fork strategy, where all 4 of them go in different ways, but close to each other at the same time, but make sure they get security first.
Battle's going towards security at the moment. It's going to be Jimbo and a 1v1 for Audios, but that player does come in to help him out. It's going to be Mose who drops the ball there and picks up a slay, and he's going to throw that ball out bottom mid. So perfect objective play there from Mose. It does get scooped up here by Vex, but Mose dropping that oddball momentarily just for a few seconds to pick up a kill could have turned into more than the seconds that he dropped it for, and then when realizing he was under pressure, tossing that ball out bottom mid and making it difficult, making it in an exposed area of the map for Vex to pick up. But Vex did a good job scooping that one up, and now they will get some time.
So if I'm Lunny right here, I try and get to top cap, because that overshield's coming up pretty soon. You have what? I mean, you have a fair amount of sniper ammo to work with. 5 shots, that's all you need. All you need to do is get a sightline on that overshield. If you go around to Blue Bend right here, you're not going to have the best sightline on it, and Infused are already inside that turbine area, and if allow the enemy team to get the power up on this map is an easy setup breaker, but looks like they're slaying around the overshield. They do have the timing on it. Snipe Drone grabs that one, and that's actually a really good play.
Oh,
Vexed
Mose!
Mose wins a 1v1, but he's already no shields going up against an overshield player. Takes all the overshield off, but Snipe Drone has a snipe, and during all that time, it was VEXED.EBUYER getting some ball time.
Yeah, they're in the lead at the moment. Only a slender lead at this point. Snipe Drone going to be flanked here by that player, so the sniper rifle going to be taken out of his hands almost immediately. 1 dead here, and you can see Infused, they realize there's 1 dead. That's 2 dead, and you're going to see Jimbo immediately pick up that ball and scoop up some more time.
That was such a big touch from Jimbo. That ball was about to reset, and if it does, VEXED.EBUYER, they come off the respawn and they contest that new ball. So such a big touch there from Jimbo. And wins the 1v1 versus Cyber too, so we should see more time here coming in after this slay on Lunny, coming in from Team Infused.
That's what I love about it as well, is the fact that even though Infused were so close to setting up, Vexed will not give up that security control. And whilst they've got security control, they can spawn each other blue bridge constantly, forcing Infused to go outside all the time. But as you can see, Kumbo now is making a great play rotating all the way around, because he knows that at least 3 or 4 of them will be on blue bridge the entire time. So he thinks, you know what, even though Vexed wasn't the best, at least he's a lot safer knowing that it will be hiding away from the opposite team.
Yeah, just for, again, some of those who might be new to our ball, when we talk about rotations, essentially, we're talking about moving that ball away from where your opponents are, making sure that you are the furthest distance, the player with the odd ball is the furthest distance away from the closest player on the opposition team, just to make sure you're maximizing that ball time and getting closer to that 200-point mark. We're seeing so many turnovers of possession at the moment. What are you attributing that to? Is it the fact that the players are just getting across the map quickly, or do you think it's just that they may be a little bit under practice on this game type?
I think it could be a mix of lack of practice on this game type, but also the fact that they are both going pretty much toe-to-toe in slays, right? It's not often we're seeing one team outslay the other. Right, they're trying to play the ball, finally gets it off. And the turbine control here for Team Infused might seem a bit quizzical because that ball just got played, but I mean the overshield's coming up any moment, so they're already inside a turbine. They didn't get the last couple of overshields, so it seems like a bit of a hard counter right here to the overshield grab. It was actually Snipe Drone who just burned that, so actually a loss despite having that turbine control. They lose the team fight essentially with the overshield burn from Snipe Drone and the more slays on the side of VEXED.EBUYER. So advantage Vex right now, they're up by, what is that? I mean, 15, something like that. I can't read.
It's the one thing that scares me about Oddball coming back is the fact that Maths is back. Maths is back in the rotation for the casters, and I mean, mine is dreadful.
It's the worst. I mean, like, I failed GCSE Maths. I didn't really. I didn't. Don't worry, guys. It's Pythagoras theorem. I remember.
Hey. 106 to 93 the score.
Trigonometry.
5 minutes left on the board while Harry's brain comes back to life, remembering all those things from years ago. 106 to 101. It is Infused with the ball at the moment. Respect, we're going to maybe overzealous and challenge that one. Really need to challenge that kill. You don't need to pick up the kills if you're holding the odd ball. You just need to keep the opponents away from that ball carrier, laying down shots. Kimbo's going to get taken down by Snipe Drone, but he does get the ball played out to bottom middle. And 106 to 106. Once again, these two teams on these objective time-based game type. Very, very close between them both. Jimbo takes down Lunny. Beatdown comes in from one of the players there. It's going to be respectful. Snipe Drone taken down by Kimbo as well. So an opportunity here for the oddball to be picked up by Team Infused. Lunny, that's last one alive. Respectful's trying to hunt him down. Yeah, it's interesting. We've seen really not so much sniper play so far this game. I mean, we've seen it a couple of times when teams have been setting up for overshield, but most of the time when you're using sniper on this game type, it's not going to be when you're breaking a setup. Most of the time it's going to be when you have that setup already and you're picking off spawners from the enemy team. We haven't really seen prolonged possession of the oddball from either team. And when they have had the possession, they haven't had the sniper in their hands either. So sniper hasn't really been a factor so far this game. Overshield is about to come up, so if you're seeing Respectful right here on this blue bend, you kind of want him to rotate around to that turbine, as all of VEXED.EBUYER are doing right now. And we'll swap over to Snipe Drone, and his teammate is going to try and prevent that overshield being grabbed, but Kimbo will slam that one home, and no kill there for Snipe Drone either. Yeah, Quadio's last player alive here for Vex. He's spawning the opposite side of the maps. Mo's got a lovely spawn there right next to the tower as those players are pushing. It's going to be time on the board once again here for Team Infused, 141 to 109. And I like what I'm seeing. Once again, just dropping that ball for that moment just to put those extra shots on is allowing Kimbo to pick up a double kill. And in a 4v2 situation, that's all it means is time to Team Infused. Once again, Respectful now rotating this one towards his teammates, away from the opposition on Vex. This is a big win if he can get this trade as well. Does get the trade, so that means that there's not going to be any extra time going into the hands of Vex. This is the part of the game, if you are Vex, you need to understand this is the series on the line. You need to start getting your marbles together, because at the moment, you're down by, what, almost a minute? You need to start getting slays, you need to get Riots firing with this sniper rifle, start getting big chunks of time and allowing Riots, as we said before, picking off those spawners with this sniper. You can't let him have this objective piece as well as that power weapon. That's really poor play there from Vex. You've got to have someone in a position to grab that one. Mose will win a 1v1 on Quadios, and
you got to say, time is running out here for VEXED.EBUYER.
Absolutely. With Vex as well, they've definitely got a few opportunities to make some kind of comeback, because even Infused do hold blue side. I see a lot of the time where they're not holding blue bridge or bridge itself. They're basically kind of like hovering around bottom mids and blue security trying to outplay them. But the problem is, you need that height advantage in case they do come from outside. So Vex do have a chance, so long as Infused don't get an entirely full setup.
Yeah, you can see some desperation starting to creep into Vexed here. They're just trying to milk the ball for all it's worth, and all that's doing is allowing Team Infused to pick up the slays. Team Infused do not need to touch the ball for the rest of this game. All they have to do, as you say, Harry, play Team Slayer, get those kills, keep the ball away from VEXED.EBUYER, and they will win the game. And not only that, the series, Quadio's trying to take down Jimbo here, eventually does, but he's going to be swept up by some other teammates coming in there. That's one down for either side, but 158 to 117, definitely the biggest lead we've seen so far, and with Kimbo picking up that overshield, I mean, 1 minute 30 left on the clock, this one is getting close to over.
It is. They are only 40 points behind, but that is a big amount of time to get in Oddball and Halo 5. Definitely not a setup-based game type. It's more of like a dynamic setup-based game type, and all Infused have to do here is play the ball. Vex, they have to get in a position to grab this new one if they have any hope of getting back into this game. Kimbo's just trying to play Ring Around the Roses with a player right there, but no one from Vex again in a position to grab that new ball. You gotta say, this game is pretty much over.
Yeah, 60 seconds about to be left on the clock. They need pretty much most of the seconds here, give or take, if they want to force a game at number 5 here. Quadios gets taken down, and the ball falling into the hands of Team Infused is going to be bad news bears for VEXED.EBUYER. 173 to 121. I think we're pretty much mathematically into that position now where they cannot win. Team Infused look like they're going to take the series, and they are going to move on to our grand finals, gentlemen.
Really well played game of Eden Oddball right there from Team Infused, doing exactly what they needed to do. They set up every 2 minutes for that overshield so well, and wouldn't be surprised if just allow Mose to milk the rest of this time.
Just to show he done some objective.
Oh yeah, this is definitely Mose at the end of the game going, look at my ball time, man.
He's one of those
Look
people
at all
where
my ball time. It's like got 9 seconds or something they got at the end.
definitely one of those players where he'll have 0 seconds, and at the end, if it's 3v4, he'll basically hold the ball to show he's done something.
And that is going to be the game. 200 to 121 at the end there. VEXED.EBUYER realized that they had, of course, the game was gone and the series was gone as well. So Infused get revenge on last week, and they move into our grand finals where Vexed will be exited in the semi-finals. Quick look at the stats there, Harry. Jimbo, the man, the myth, the legend, 23 kills from him.
Better with Jimbo. That's all I need to say. 23 kills from him, 69 seconds of all time from Mose, 66 from Respectful. Just excellent play all round from Infused. And last week they were top 8 without Jimbo. They're now guaranteed top 2 this week with him. Just goes to show, better with Jimbo.
Yeah, it just shows the difference really, doesn't it, you know? But yeah, with this game type in general, you saw a few times where you could tell this game is premature to these teams because they're still trying to work out exactly what needs to be done and why. Or maybe they did know, but there's a lot of situational events where they had to move around a lot. So for example, obviously, if Oshield's coming up, they can't really hold Blue Bridge and try and get Oshield at the same time. But there was a couple of times where I saw Infused have almost perfect setup, but the problem was the fact that they'd hang around bottom mid and security just a little bit too much. But it might be because they're trying to show their map presence as well as trying to hold that setup.
Yeah, very true. The first time we've seen Oddball on broadcast. Make sure you let us know what you think of it as well. Use that hashtag HaloWC and just get some feedback on that one. And you've got something to say, have you?
Did you like the free cam action I threw in there?
I do. I enjoy it.
Throwing different things out there, you know.
It's observant genius, aren't you?
I don't like to say it.
You guys.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, well done.
Thanks.
Good stuff.
That's all I wanted to hear.
But Vexed, I mean, going back to last week, it seems like the crown is slowly now being moved back to Infused. I mean, it was 1 week, yes. Obviously, Vexed took last week, but before that, the scrims were going all in Vexed's favour. Then we had the team change and everything like that. But it seems like Infused are back on track now, and they're playing like the Infused that we expect.
Yeah, most definitely. It's now you have to question VEXED.EBUYER, right? You have to question whether or not they only won last week because of Infused not being as strong as they were. I still think this VEXED.EBUYER team is a top 2 caliber team, in my opinion. I mean, they're going to be the ones challenging Infused at the end of the day. But the question is, will they retain their #1 spot in Europe, considering they won the 2K last week and now they're out in top 4 this time round?
I think this is the problem as well. With Infused in general, like last event, well, no, sorry, the last 2K, I think they seemed a little bit, you know, flustered mentality-wise, because they're going into it knowing all the problems they were having. And when you've got all 4 members of the team like that, it's pretty difficult to play any event or any tournament in that kind of scenarios. But, you know, I think they've settled now mentality-wise in terms of how they want to do things. You know, they know Jimbo's the right choice and going ahead, going forward. And I think now they can feel like they can play themselves again and then progress forward.
Yeah, it's very true. Well, if you are just joining us on the stream, firstly, welcome to the G50 Arena.
Hello.
And secondly, let's have a quick look at the bracket and see exactly where we are